Hello guys, hoje a gente vai ver uma aula sobre Picture Description, descrevendo fotografias, tá? Vai ser uma aula que tem mais um vídeo para você assistir do que eu propriamente dito falando. Então, Describing Pictures in English. Primeira coisa, a introdução. The photo picture show. It was taken by and it's black and white color photo. What and where? In the foreground, background you can see. In the foreground, background there is. In the middle, center there are. At the top, at the bottom there is. On the left, right there are. Behind, in front of, you can see. Between, there is. Então, esses são os passos que você tem que seguir para descrever uma fotografia, uma paisagem, né? Então, eu vou mostrar um vídeo para vocês, How to Describe a Picture in English. Ele está todo em inglês, não tem legenda, tá? É importante que você, no nono ano, comece a tentar pegar o máximo que você pode ouvindo, tá legal? Essa é a ideia básica, que você volte o vídeo, escute e procure entender. Tem muita palavrinha que você conhece, uma outra, claro, vai ser mais difícil, mas o importante, lembro sempre, é você entender o contexto do vídeo. Até a próxima aula.
In this lesson, you can learn how to describe a picture in English.
Take an interesting picture and try to describe it in English. You can practice your speaking and learn some new English vocabulary.
What's the best way to start your description?
Start with a summary, giving a general description of what's in the picture and what you can see. It's useful to imagine that the person you're talking to can't see the picture. Think, what does the other person need to know? What do you need to say so that other people can understand what's in the picture?
Let's do an example. What's the best way to start your description?
Start with a summary, giving a general description of what's in the picture and what you can see. It's useful to imagine that the person you're talking to can't see the picture. Think, what does the other person need to know? What do you need to say so that other people can understand what's in the picture?
Let's do an example. You want to summarize what you see in one or two simple sentences. How could you do that? You could say, there are several small boats next to a beach. Or, the picture shows a beach with many small boats in the water nearby.
Here's another picture.
You can use these phrases. There is, or there are. The picture shows. Pause the video and make one or two sentences. You can write down your answers if you want. Okay, after your summary, you can start giving more detail about what you see in the picture.
To start giving detail, you can talk about where things are in the picture. Here's some useful language to help you do this. Let's do an example. You could say, on the left, there's a girl with dark curly hair. She's holding half a cauliflower. In the middle, there's a man who's chopping vegetables. At the bottom, we can see a counter with many different vegetables on it.
When talking about photos, you might also need the phrases in the background, in the foreground. For example, in the foreground, there's a sandy beach with 3 metal anchors on it. In the middle, there are several small boats, which are close to the beach. In the background, we can see the blue sea stretching to the horizon.
Let's put all of this language together in another example. Think first, what could you say about this picture? Okay, let's look at what you could say. On the left, there's a cat sitting on a table. On the right, there's a man standing though we can't see his face. In the background, we can see blue sky and snowy mountains.
Now it's your turn. Here's a picture. Pause the video and make at least 3 sentences. Use the useful language you saw in this section.
Now, the person you're talking to should have a good general idea about what's in the picture you're describing and where things are. Next, you should start describing your picture in more detail. Let's look at a picture you've seen before.
When adding detail, don't try to describe everything in the picture. It's not necessary or useful. You should add details to the most important parts of the picture. So, for this picture, what do you think the most important parts are?
Probably, the person who took this photo took it because of the people. So you should focus your description on the 2 people. Think, what do they look like and what are they doing?
You could say, the 2 people both look unhappy or irritated. They're sitting at the kitchen table together, but they aren't talking to each other. The man is staring down at the table while the woman is stirring her tea with a spoon. That's just 3 sentences, but they add a lot of detail to your description.
Let's try one more. In this picture, what do you think you should focus on in your description? Fairly obviously, you should talk about the horses. Let's try. The horses are running through the grass. 2 of them are black, but the one in the middle is white and gray. They don't have saddles or anything, so they could be wild horses. Again, you can see that you can do a lot with just a few sentences.
All right, now it's your turn. Let's take a picture you've already seen. Pause the video and make at least 3 sentences to describe the picture in detail. Try to include as much information as you can. How was that? If you want more practice, you can do the same exercise with other pictures from this lesson, or you could use your own pictures. At this point, you've described the picture in detail, so what else can you do? Speculating. What does that mean? Speculating means talking about possibilities. For example, look at this picture. Think about some questions. Why are the umbrellas there? Who put them there?
By trying to answer questions like this, you are speculating. You're talking about possibilities and giving your opinion about the picture. Speculating can help you to make a longer, more detailed answer when talking about a picture.
Let's do an example. I suppose it might be some kind of art project. Maybe one person put an umbrella up there as a joke, and then other people started doing it too. Let's look at one more picture. Think, if you wanted to speculate about this picture, what could you say?
Another way to think about it. What questions could you ask yourself about this picture? Possible ideas are, who made the footprints and why? Where were they going? Where is the person who made the footprints now? There are other possibilities, of course, so feel free to use your own ideas too. Okay, so what could you say to speculate about this picture?
Here are some examples. The footprints must have been made by a climber or a mountaineer. The person who made the footprints might be standing on top of the mountain now. In our examples, you've seen some useful language which you can use to speculate about a picture. Do you remember?
You can use language like, I suppose, maybe, it must, he might. Let's practice using these once more with another picture.
Could you make 4 sentences using the useful language we just saw. Let's do an example together. I suppose the guy is a climber, or he's on an adventure holiday. Maybe he climbed something and now he's on the way down. He must have a lot of experience because his body language is quite relaxed. He might be focusing on what he's doing, but he might just be enjoying the view.
Okay, now it's your turn. Can you make 4 sentences to speculate about this picture using the language you've learned in this section? Pause the video and think about your answers. Now you have one more thing to do. When you speculate, you can speculate about what you can see in the picture. However, you can, and you should, speculate about what you can't see too.
How's this possible? Well, think about this picture. You can think about questions like where and when was the picture taken? Who took the picture? What was the photographer doing there? For example, I think this could be in the USA, or maybe Russia. It's a good photo, so perhaps it was taken by a professional nature photographer. You see, talking about what you can't see in the picture can be very useful and can help to add details to your answer.
Let's do one more example. What could you say about this picture? Let's do this one together. You could say, this must be somewhere tropical, like the Caribbean or the Maldives. Perhaps it was taken by a tourist who came to the beach on one of those boats. Okay, one more. This time you have to do it yourself. Here's your picture. Make at least 2 sentences to speculate about the context of the picture. Think about where and when it was taken, who took it, and what the photographer was doing there.
How was that? Hopefully you feel more confident describing pictures in English now. Let's put everything you've learned together and practice making longer, fluent descriptions. When you describe a picture, you should give a summary of what you see. Talk about where things are in the picture. Add details. Speculate about what's in the picture. And speculate about the context of the picture.
Let's make a longer answer together. We'll start with a picture we've used already. Here's a possible longer answer. In the picture, there are 2 people sitting at a table, looking unhappy. There's a woman on the left and a man on the right. In the middle of the picture, we can see some things on the table, like cups of tea, biscuits, milk, and so on. The 2 people look sad or irritated, and they aren't speaking to each other. They're both looking down at the table. I suppose they had a fight, and now they aren't talking to each other. Or they might just be bored and not have anything to talk about. I guess it's a stock photo, because otherwise, why would the photographer be in the kitchen with them? Do you think you could make an answer like this? Remember, all the language you need is in this lesson. You just need to take the things you practiced in each part and put them together.
Let's do one more example together. The picture shows umbrellas hanging in the air. In the foreground, we can see a street light, and the umbrellas fill the picture from left to right. The umbrellas are of many different colors, mostly bright colors like pink, yellow, or green. They're hanging from wires. I can see at least 4 lines of umbrellas hanging down in this way, but there could be even more. Maybe this is some sort of art project. It might also be a festival or tradition that people decorate the streets with colorful umbrellas like this. I suppose the picture was taken in a city or town, though I can't tell where exactly. Perhaps the photographer was a tourist and was just walking around the city when he saw this amazing and strange scene.